Hello and welcome back. We're at another episode of The Lifestyle Changes of Me, Dr. Tom, the PT Gamer Guy. I'm a little behind on this one just because life's been a little bit busy, but this week's going to be a little bit different just because I've just had a different calling. I feel like God's kind of called me to speak a little bit this week about just the human body, just in general. In church, we've been talking about a lot about commitment, dedication, and actually we talked about physical activity and physical fitness, and it's something that's been on my heart since the end of last year, which has caused me to go through this whole change and try to podcast and talk about it. And then I just feel like there's just a different calling this week to kind of talk about that topic of just the human body. So we're going to take it from a couple different standpoints. We're not going to harp too much on differences between men and women. I just want to talk about just the body in general, just the fact that we have one body that we get. And I want to take it from a standpoint of, I feel like God's called me to talk about this, but then also at the same time take like a different approach, maybe an atheistic viewpoint on the human body as well. I mean, it can go both ways here because not everybody believes in God or that Jesus is the Christ, so we all have our own different stances and viewpoints on the world, and I want to kind of touch base on both of those because I think this message can kind of pertain to everybody, really, but we're really mostly just going to be talking about like kind of the Christian viewpoint and the atheist viewpoint. And I want to kind of start with the atheist viewpoint. I mean, really, when you look at it that way, you believe there is no God. You believe that your life begins and ends with, when you're born, and then you die, and then that's it, right? And when I try to put myself in that mindset, I have to think, man, if that is where I'm at, I'm thinking I only have one life to live, one body to live it with. The thought process to me would be, why not try to do the best you can to take the best care you can of that body so that you can optimize the one life that you do get. It just seems to make sense to me that that's the way you would want to approach it, because you want to have a high quality life because you only get one of them, right? So, I mean, if that's kind of the viewpoint and the stance that you take on the world and add the afterlife or lack thereof, if that's what you believe, why not do what you can to make sure you're putting healthy things in your body, taking good care of your body, keeping your body strong? I mean, research shows that that's really the best ways to extend your life and improve the quality and quantity of your life is by diet and exercise. And diet carries with it such a negative kind of connotation, but really diet is just what you eat. What is your diet? What are you eating? What are you putting in your body? Are you paying attention to it? Are you putting in a lot of processed junk food, or are you trying to maintain pretty healthy lifestyle with eating? I think that's part of my lifestyle change is changing the way I view food and the way I view my diet of what I'm eating, is kind of viewing it that way. I want to make sure I'm putting stuff in my body that my body can use and it's good for my body. It's not going to be, negative. Now, I have those treats once in a while where you kind of splurge and spoil yourself on something that maybe isn't so good for you, but I don't want to make it a habit of ingesting that every day to where my body expects it and where it causes issues with blood pressure or fat or blood sugars or anything like that. So I would think that, the viewpoint there, my encouragement to you is if that's kind of the way you view life in the world, take good care of your body. You only get one of them. And if you want to enjoy life to the fullest as long as you can, which I would imagine you do, take good care of it. Make sure you're eating healthy and staying strong. I mean, keeping your strength up. Physical training, strengthening is really good. You don't have to be like a gym rat where you're in the gym 7 days a week, but just, 30 minutes a day for about 3 to 4 days a week of decent intensity strength training exercises to help maintain and keep your strength up. Make sure you're eating decent protein to keep your muscle strength up and physical activity to keep that going, because that's going to keep your quality of life the highest you can for the longest that your genetics will allow for. And that would allow you to have a better quality of life as you get later in life. I mean, if you do have kids and family and grandkids, then I would imagine you want to experience as much as you can of their lives too, and just the fulfillment that brings. So that's kind of my take when it comes to the atheist viewpoint, is just, you got one life to live, one body, then by gosh, you should take the best care of it you can. Now, me being, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe that Jesus is who he said he was, and he is the Christ. So there's some more different things that go along with that. So you can look at it from the standpoint of, well, this isn't our body. Once we pass away, we will have heavenly bodies. And we don't carry this body with us onto the next. So why should I take care of it? Well, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, similar reasons to the viewpoint I just said is you want to have a good quality of life for the time that you're here. But in the Bible, it even tells us that, our bodies are a temple. If we've accepted Christ into our lives, and he is a part of our bodies. And if we're commanded and called to make disciples of others and just share our story and share the story of Jesus. And we can't do that if we're laid up and weak in bed bound, where we just don't have the strength or physical mobility to do it. Now, I understand there's certain health conditions that kind of lays you up and put you there, but if you're there just because you didn't take good care of yourself, you didn't eat very well, and you didn't stay strong, well, then you've not been a very good steward of the body that's been given to you. In 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20, it says, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you've received from God? You are not your own. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. It's a one way to kind of show worship, and we can worship through all kinds of different means. Yeah, the tithe. I always talk about money, right? But just being in the Word, worshiping through song and praise, but then also worshiping by taking good care of your body. Again, making sure you're eating healthy, you're putting food in your body that your body can use and build your strength and maintain your activity level. Staying active and keeping your strength up through training and exercise. I mean, that's a good way to honor God with the gift of the body that you got. Again, not asking you to become like a muscle-bound gym rat who's, going hardcore and has muscles on top of muscles, but just improving yourself, improving your physical strength and activity to be just a better version of yourself. Because, if we would take a hard look at ourselves, can we really, this is what I did. I mean, it's one of those, I took a hard look at myself and had asked myself, am I really doing the best I can to take the best care of myself that I am? And I had to be honest with myself and say, no, I'm not. And then follow up with that as, what can I do to improve myself? It's like, I need to eat better. Yeah, I do need to eat better. I need to exercise more. Yep, definitely need to do that. So I had to take a honest, hard look at myself and what I'm doing and what can I do to be better. And it's hard when you make a change because there's a lot of hardships that go along with that. Changing your diet, you feel hungry, your body gets used to a certain food schedule and amount of food and the type of foods you're eating. And then when you change all that, it kind of there's different changes in your body, different changes that you feel. And that's just something you have to kind of work through, but you have to make the commitment to it. And that's another thing that they brought up in church, and in the saying that we had a football player come last Super Bowl, and I can't remember his name for the life of me off the top of my head. But his quote that he said was that amateurs make decisions based on feelings, pros make decisions based on commitments. Now, he's talking about that from an athletic standpoint, and we've tried to, shift that into like church and, your relationship with God, that standpoint. I take it from the standpoint, before all this even came about, I had made a commitment to make a change in my life. And I've made my decisions based on that commitment. I've changed what I've eaten, how often I might go out to eat, or what kinds of foods I do eat when I go out to eat, what kinds of food I'm eating on a daily basis. Going to the Y to work out every opportunity that we get. There are days that I don't make it, but that's usually because there is something going on that will prevent me. There's a life event or something going on that prevents me from being able to do so. But I'm in the gym 5-6 days a week otherwise, because I've made that commitment in my heart and in my head. I said, I'm committed to doing this for myself and making this change. If I made it based on feelings, I would have quit this probably. I started January 1st. I would have quit January 5th. I would have been motivated that first week or so, but then towards the end of the week, I would have been like, oh, that Snickers bar looks good. I'm going to go ahead and just take that, eat that, and that bag of chips, yep, and that ice cream, yep, that's not a problem. I'm going to eat that. You know what? I don't feel so good today, so I'm just not going to work out. I would have gave up so long ago. So it's very true that you make your decisions based on commitments. If you want to go pro, if you want to take it to the next level, you've got to dedicate it and make that commitment to yourself, saying, I'm committed to myself. And it's kind of like a form of self-love, taking care of yourself. Do you, love and respect yourself and have the dignity for yourself and discipline to say, yes, I'm going to do this because I need this. This is the best for me. And it's another way to show love for your family, your children, your grandchildren, by taking good care of yourself. That way they can have the best version of you that is able to be there. Another saying, and I can't remember exactly where I heard it. I think it might have been at church too, but I think it was in reference to a CrossFit gym or something, but the saying was, find out what happens if you don't quit. And I'm probably butchering that, but basically it's the saying, everybody's used to starting something and then quitting. Is like, find out what happens when you don't quit. And that kind of stuck with me, just to say, yeah, I want to see the result of when I don't quit, because I have the knowledge, I have the ability. What would happen if I don't quit? What will I look like in the end? And it's interesting because a lot of people have asked me, like, what are your goals for, you're working out, your diet? What are you, with what you're doing? What's your goals? Multiple people have asked me that. And I say, I don't really, it's kind of a different standpoint, because I always say, and it's different for me, because I always say, begin with the end in mind, have a set of goals available and ready. That way, if you've achieved what you're trying to achieve. I'm kind of going a different approach with this, and I don't really have any specific goals. I don't have a specific weight I want. There's kind of maybe a specific look I want, but it's not even a goal. It's just, yeah, I'd like to look a certain way, but that's not a goal for me. I'm not doing it so that I can look a certain way. I just want to feel healthy and be the best version of myself that I can be, and see what that looks like, because I don't feel like I've ever gotten there. I was very healthy and active in high school and college, and then it just kind of all went away after that. Once you got into the workforce, you start working, have kids, that stuff just falls by the wayside, because I wasn't committed to it. But I'm committed to it now, and I'm seeing the results, and I do see the changes. I do see the physical changes in my body, and I do feel better. I don't hurt as much in my joints when I run or move. Yeah, there's still certain aches and pains that are around, but that's kind of normal to an extent. But I'm moving better. I feel better. I'm seeing those changes, and I want to see what it looks like when I don't quit. And I'm only going on 3 months into this, so we're still pretty early in this process. But yeah, a lot of it's just to be the best version of yourself you can be, whether you believe in God, whether you don't believe in God, whether you believe there's an afterlife or no afterlife. You got one body on this life, in this world. Take good care of it. Take good care of yourself, and make yourself the best version of yourself you can be. But that does include dedication and commitment to yourself, and being honest with yourself. I think that's the hardest part that I had, was just being honest with myself. I always told myself, you don't eat too bad. You're pretty active. But when I take a cold, hard look at it and put it on, when I had to put pen to paper to it and really look at what I ate, and started adding up the calories and started adding up the fat content and looking at my weight and looking at my activity level, there's that moment of honesty with myself that says, you are nowhere near where you think you are. And you need to make a lot of changes if you want to have, a good quality of life going forward. Not that I have any health problems right now. I'm lucky to be pretty healthy, and don't have any major health problems, but just what I see in my work, as I work with a lot of elderly people as they get older, and they lose a lot of strength, they lose a lot of activity level, and just to see how it affects them and their families, it's disheartening at times. And I don't want that. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for my family. I don't want that for anybody that has to deal with me. I don't want them to have to take care of me because I was lazy and didn't take care of myself. I don't want to do that to them. So yeah, that's kind of where it's at. And even in doing some research on this, I came up on a couple other verses that I just thought were interesting, like Ephesians 4 verse 4. There is one body and one spirit, just as you were called to the one when you were called. I mean, it says it right there. There is one body and one spirit. You don't get a second body at this. I mean, yeah, in our healthcare environment, you can replace some joints. You can have some new knees, new hips, new shoulders, whatever, but you can't replace your body. The body is what it is. You might be able to get a heart transplant, which is kind of awesome procedures that you hear about. But you get one body. You can kind of part it out a little bit, but you only get one. And the other one was another one was First Thessalonians. That's a tough word. Chapter 4, verse 3 through 5. It is God's will that you should be sanctified, that you should avoid sexual immorality, that each of you should learn to control your own body in a way that is holy and honorable, not in passionate lust like the pagans who do not know God. Okay, there's a couple things there, but yeah, they're talking about sexual immorality and lust, that kind of stuff. But really, I took out of that when I looked at it, it says, each of you should learn to control your own body in a way that is holy and honorable. Basically, respect your body, take care of it. Yeah, that also, in terms of sexual immorality, is not, getting too, we're not going to get too much into that, but just being respectful of your body. You have control of your body. You have control of what you do with your body. You have control of what you eat and how active you are with your body. So those are things you have control of. So do right by those and have respect for yourself. Yeah, I'm not talking about the sexual stuff on that. I know that's kind of what that verse was getting at, but I just took it of you control that body. You have, like in Ephesians, like it says, you have one body and one spirit. And then there in Thessalonians, it says, control your body in a way that's holy and honorable. I mean, when I put those two together, it's like, yes, you have one body, take control of it, do right by it. And really the take-home message, I think, for today is, yeah, you get one body. Take good care of it. Be the best version of yourself you can be. I know it kind of turned into a sermon or maybe kind of a preachy message, motivational speech, whatever you want to call this, but I kind of felt like this week that's what this episode needed to be. Just because I feel like God put that on my heart, just to send the message out to people that, yeah, you get one body. Take good care of it, respect yourself, and be the best version of yourself you can be. With that, I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good rest of the day. Thank you.